Really excited to go through our webinar here today. I saw a lot of people in the chat popping from coming from all over the world, so I'm really excited y'all are spending this time with us here right now. Like you said, this session will be recorded, so that will be sent out if you have to pop off or if you have any colleagues that want to watch this later. So not a problem at all, and just keep that in mind. But talking about the session is just how to transform learning with Kahoot's assignments and assessment tools. So this is something that comes up a lot of times with my conversations with different instructors and organizations on how they can use this platform to be more apt in terms of various forms of assessment they want to give, and particularly how maybe they can use our other ways of maybe not live Kahoots, maybe something more asynchronous like our assignments feature, then how we can prove that process over time with the reporting aspect. So all of it's going to kind of come together. We'll get to see a lot of really cool things with the Kahoot platform. As I continue, just another quick intro. My name is Joshua Scoggin. I'm the manager of enterprise sales here on the higher ed division. I am based in our Austin office, so here in Texas. So if you hear any Southern drawl or y'alls, that's just due to my dialect here. So you'll definitely see a few of those come out here and there. But I do want to give just a quick overview of what we'll be looking at today. So a quick snapshot of the webinar. We'll do a quick outline of the features that'll be discussed today. So talk a little about some more interactive question styles, different assignment versions, how we can look at these assessments with our reporting features. So we'll cover all that bit here at the beginning. We'll have a quick demo on the EDU platform with our assessment tools in mind, so make sure we'll key on those as well. There's actually a video of our Kahoot's Canvas integration, so really excited to show that off. LNS LTI integrations has been something that's been requested for quite some time, so I'm really excited to finally show you what that looks like here. And then we'll do a quick Kahoot over the EDU material we covered, just getting your feedback. We'd love to get in terms of constructive feedback from you and some opinions. So, and then not to forget, at the end, we'll have a session dedicated for some Q&A. So if you have any questions in the chat we weren't able to answer, some more near the end, don't worry, that we'll have some time dedicated for that as well. So to begin, when we're looking at assessment and different assessment styles, one of the first things I get asked about is like, what kind of question type should I be asking? Like, should I, stick to more like multiple choice, or should I be doing some more objective or more subjective based question types? So a few things I do want to just say is think about using possibly some of our collecting opinions type questions. So different styles, different free flows, maybe some students react different ways to different question styles. So if you're wanting to get more like constructive responses from your audience, definitely look at some more of our collecting opinions or subjective question types. These are basically questions to spark discussions, get instant feedback. You'll actually be doing a few of these later, then you'll see a few of these when we actually go through the creator itself. And then when we're looking at like succeeding various media types, so if you have like a video or maybe a document you're adding to the end of your presentation and you just want a quick like, hey, in terms of like just a quick poll, like, hey, do you think like X, or what do you think about the video from Y? So if you have any of those resources, this is just a quick way to get that instant feedback. And then maybe doing like a pulse check with your audience at the end of a particular subject or concept. I have a lot of instructors that do something in more of the lines of that as well. So what I am talking about when we're looking at these question types, these are actually the entire list of question types that we have available in our catalog. So the top half is going to be more of our testing knowledge, more objective question styles. The next is going to be more of our collecting opinions, more subjective, but getting more constructive feedback. So I get asked a lot about our different question styles. A lot of people know about the quiz and true false. That usually comes pretty standard. Type answer is great with my higher ed audience. It's probably one of the big ones I get asked about. I love this question type, and it's really fun to do it live with users. Slider is a new one as well. If you haven't tried that out, that's like our variable between 2 points. So selecting a number between 2 instances. Pin answer is brand new, something that was requested for some time. It's like drop pin, which is like uploading like an image or diagram or chart, and then having your audience select an area of the image. This is for no points. This is for points. So there is a points version as well. It's really exciting. And then puzzle. So like putting things in a correct sequence or the right order from top to bottom. That's another, probably one of the last ones I'll mention on the objective side. But then collecting opinions, if you are creating these various assessments, make sure you include some polls in there or some scales. So scales more of our like, how would you rate this 1 out of 5? Or, hey, are you comfortable going on to the next session? Or, hey, do you think we should have another review portion of this chapter? So the scale is a really good way to get that instant feedback back. And then the last, you'll see these at the end, but like word cloud. So that's more of like a collage of everyone's ideas. Open-ended is more of like stanza-based answering. So if you're wanting longer 200 plus character responses from your audience, that's a question type I would recommend. And then brainstorm, which is like listing off different ideas and concepts that your group can actually submit to you. So if you haven't tried these out for different assessment styles, I definitely recommend looking at them. These are all going to be available on the EDU platform, and then all the question types we're looking at are actually going to be on the EDU licensing as well. So while we've looked at the question types, we'll take a peek at those later in the demo. The next is what I want to talk about is the asynchronous assignments. So when we're actually doing different assignments, and I get asked, hey, Josh, like, what is an assignment? How is that different? I would say a lot of my users end up doing, like, I would say the more traditional style of Kahoots, where it's going to be the hosted live all in one session, all doing it together, either virtually, hybrid, or all in like one classroom together, possibly. The asynchronous assignments is a different version that allows students or participants to join these platforms at their own pace. So if you have a Kahoot either by itself or maybe a few different things you want to send out, you can actually say, okay, I want you to complete this at your own pace. I'm going to have this pushed out for a few weeks, and you're able to log on and complete it at your own accord. So it definitely gives a different feel to the Kahoot. I would say a different experience, definitely, but just as valuable. And I think it allows that flexibility in terms of when they're actually able to engage with the content. So a few key points I want to add if you ever do any of these asynchronous assignments is you'll be able to promote student-led learning with independent self-paced assignments. They're able to go at their own pace, like I mentioned. You can also remove the question timer, and you can have the whole Kahoot based solely on accuracy. A lot of times I get asked about the point system, where, because on the custom Kahoots, you can alter if you want to have points or double points, but on these assignments, you can actually turn off the question timer entirely. They can take as long as they'd like, which means also there are no points based on speed. It's going to be accuracy only, and then that will also be in the report at the end. The other big thing I want to talk about is there is a course feature that I'll show off briefly in the demo. But if, let's say, you're assigning one Kahoot, but actually you want to assign 5 Kahoots, and you want to put in one of your own personalized documents in there. So instead of having to do that 5 or 6 separate times, you can actually do something that's called a course. That's really, really exciting. And you can put all those concepts and ideas and put them all into one thing that you can blast out, essentially same like the assignment as well. So another really cool feature, we'll look about that in the demo. And then last, there's an option here that says about setting a deadline and having that as well. But on these asynchronous assignments, you actually also have the ability to just remove the deadline entirely. So it's like, hey, I'm going to post this Kahoot. I want my students to engage with this content, but I'm actually going to keep this entirely open until I deem I want to close it. So if you want it open for the whole semester, have at it. It's up to you, and then you can go back and close it whenever you'd like. So that option is there, but it definitely gives a little bit more flexibility in terms of how you're wanting to present your content back to your students. Excellent. So moving on quickly, I do want to make a quick note. We talk about live asynchronous is the big focus today in assignments, but I do want to just call out if you're doing any assessment styles or maybe some low risk effort stuff. If you haven't tried any of our other game modes, I highly recommend taking a look at it. We have the classic mode, which is probably what people are a lot accustomed to. Try team mode if you haven't. A few of my higher ed favorites, I'd say, with a lot of the instructors I've worked with, is Lost Pyramid has been fun, more of a team style. Cosmic Conquest, which is like building towers with right answers, and then like Color Kingdom, so you're able to like put different spaces on a map, trying to dominate, I'd say, that leaderboard or space area. So definitely a good change of pace. I'd say, when in terms of like changing up in a team style, definitely adds a little bit more fun to it, and a way different level, I'd say, on the assessment side. So definitely check it out if you haven't. Just want to put that note in here. But next, I want to talk about the reporting. So we talked about assignments, doing live and asynchronous. Throughout all these different groups and activities you're doing, all this information creates an individualized or unique report that's going to be in your Kahoot platform itself. So a big thing with this is going to have a summary. It's going to have all the people that joined, all the question types, and then you can actually manipulate that data further and break it down. And if you have it with like player ID, which I usually recommend, you're actually able to sort multiple reports by users and then actually have that data where you can see how they're doing over time and how they're basically like their accuracy scores or their engagement over like a set period. So there's a lot of really cool, I would say, benefits to that. But what it basically does is put all, like I mentioned, it puts all the Kahoots and courses together, either live or asynchronously. So all these reports are going to be at your disposal. You can sort by player ID, which is really important. I'll show you how to do that in the settings. But if you don't have player ID on, I highly recommend adding that. And then now, which is a cool video we'll be able to show later, Kahoot has the ability to link directly with your supported LMS system for centralized grades on accuracy of the assignment. So if you want that imported directly into your LMS system, if it's a supported platform that you have, you have that option as well. Those reports will be reflected there. And then lastly, I briefly mentioned this earlier, but you do have the ability to download reports that are also available for further analysis. And then you can manipulate those further after you export either CSV or Excel files. So all that content and data on these actual snippets that you're doing or different sessions, that's all there at your fingertips as well. So perfect. Again, we'll take a bigger breakdown on this later, but I just want to give a little snippet of what this will look like. And then lastly, I mentioned this briefly, we will talk about our LMS integration we have today. Up on the menu is going to be Canvas, so I'll actually have a video that shows how our integration with Canvas works. So it will be a breakdown on how to complete the integration. We'll show how to deep link content and then how the players actually engage with content. So a lot of really cool stuff on that. It's just kind of a sneak peek, but we'll have the video coming up shortly on how that's actually done. Perfect. Thank you for joining us. Let's dive right in. So I'm going to go ahead and stop sharing. And I'm going to pull up the Kahoot here, my platform, so you can see what we're working with. Excellent. Okay, share my screen. Perfect. So right now we're logging into my Kahoot platform. You can see my little green man here. I'm at the Kahoot University that I have in the top left-hand corner. But from this perspective, we'll go ahead and first off, go into the creator itself. So I talked a little bit about when you're doing assessment, different types of question types you can do. I do just want to give a little bit of a brief overview of that. You might see some things with the AI generator and the Kahoot assisted generator. I had a session about that a few weeks ago. If you are interested, the recording is online about that. We'll probably talk about that some more, but super, super cool. And then we also have the importing slides feature as well. So I'm just shouting that out. You can upload your PowerPoints. You can sync live with Google Slides. So a lot of really cool features coming to the creator to make it even easier for you to generate content, but something I did want to mention while I'm here. Perfect. So when we're looking at the question types, when we're doing different assessment styles, probably the few bits of info I'd say is some tips or tricks on the quiz type questions on the EDU platform itself. There's actually an option where you're able to add more question types, and you can even do like multi-select, maybe like more than one is the right answer. So if you haven't tried that out, or you're looking for different ways to like assess knowledge or get different question types or maybe variables to your students, highly recommend checking that out. That's a big one that I usually recommend for my instructors. Type answer, like I talked about, huge, slider, pin it, but this is where you can find all these question types that you'll actually engage with. So now I do get asked about, do I have to create all my own questions? No. I would mention we do have a huge catalog online. You can search question types that we already have in our public files. And then, like I mentioned with the EDU platform, you can actually search by topic, document, or URL. Will actually scan your content and generate supplemental or AI generated question types for you to utilize for your sessions. So again, check it out if you haven't, but I highly recommend looking at some of our other more objective or subjective question types here. And again, lastly, you'll actually go through a few of these in the Kahoot later to kind of experience them yourself as the user. So a lot of really cool stuff. I am going to exit this Kahoot here and go back to my home page. So let's say I have a Kahoot, and I would say most people are probably accustomed to the live version. I've seen that quite a lot. But if you haven't done the assigned version, that's kind of what I'm going to show how that's done here when we're doing assignments that we want them to do on their own accord, and we can have these assessments of like the reporting later. So live, you're probably familiar with. It looks a little bit like this. You're able to, have your own different settings, the different game modes, and then you'll just begin from there once you click start. But assignments is a little bit different where we talked about. So I mentioned a few of the categories here with the deadline being one of the biggest ones I get asked about. So let's say, hey, I want my students to engage with this. It's going to be open till like next Thursday, and it's going to close at 10 p.m. I am going to turn off question timer. I want player ID to be on. Personalized learning, if they're playing through the app, you're actually able to have them retry difficult questions at the end. So they won't be reflected on the report itself on the Kahoot when it's completed, but it will show that, hey, if you want to do a few more practice rounds or try again on a few of the questions that you missed, you're able to do that as well. You can randomize answer orders, and then if you want to have a nickname generator, keep it completely anonymous. It's completely up to you as well. So all these options are here when you're having these assignments or stating them directly. Lastly, I think I mentioned that again, if you have a deadline, if you want to turn it off, totally fine. You can turn it off. I am going to keep it till next Thursday, and I'll have it till 10 o'clock. I think it's Thursday. I'll have to double check what day that is. I think it's a Monday, actually. But if I could create, I'm going to create my report. Great. So I have my duplicate copy of the EDU 101 I want to send out. I can send out the invite here directly. I can pass out the QR code. I have a URL link that I want to send people. So a lot of different ways to get them engaged with the content. And then this is here either until I end it now, or it'll end when I actually have it pulled up. Now, I believe when I was talking about the assignments, I talked about another way of sending out assignments, which is actually through a course. So I get asked, hey, I'm assigning a few Kahoots. I want to kind of put them together. If you want to go ahead and add multiple Kahoots to something you want to assign asynchronously, you can easily do that from this course perspective. So if you want to add it a few, and then if you wanted to add maybe some of your own documents as well, so maybe something they could do at a chronological level, or maybe it's like, hey, pick whichever one you want to do first and kind of go at it that way. It depends how you want to structure it, but it definitely gives a different experience, I'd say, in terms of how you want to have that done. So just to make it easier, if you have more content you want to share, or you're having a few Kahoots, definitely recommend trying out the course feature. That's something I usually recall or recommend for the asynchronous Kahoots itself. So you've done asynchronous course. It's going to be completed last night. It's all done. So I actually want to go to my reports and see kind of how that was done and how that was completed. I earlier this week I was doing some fall content. We have some fall sponsored Kahoot content here. A few of them I was doing quite poorly on, so it made me feel like I need to brush up with my fall activities. But so as an example here, every Kahoot once it's completed will have its own entire report here generated on how it went, all the facts, details, and all the other bits and bobs with that. So I played this one myself, so you'll see my username here, my player ID. I did it just myself, so I am number one in this case, but I only got 64% right. So if you go to the summary here, it'll actually say, hey, were there any difficult questions? Here are the ones I missed, but here are a few maybe that I need to review with my class later or have another session with. And then if there's anyone that played this Kahoot with me that like either didn't finish or maybe needed some more help, that all would be in the summary page as well. As the instructor, you'll be able to see that content. So now that it's all posted here, again, you can break it down by player. If I want to look at it from a player perspective, you can do that. If I want to look at it from the question perspective as well, I can break down every single question that I posted on the Kahoot, which I think has a really cool breakdown to kind of see where everyone's heads are at or thoughts are. And then lastly, if you elect to do so, you can actually have them submit feedback post when the Kahoot's over. So when the Kahoot's completed, if the students or participants want to select feedback or post feedback back to the instructor, they can do that, and that would be actually available in the report post session. So I mentioned all this. I do want to show here, you can also download the report. So if I wanted to manipulate the data further or have that on a specific sheet that I want to put together, here's an option I get asked a lot if we can download the reporting. The answer is yes, you do have that option. But so let's say you have a lot of Kahoots here. You've done a few Kahoots this week or over the past few months. You have a lot of reports here that I want to have. But let's say I want to put them all into one combined report so I can look at it further. So I can either, like, for an example, select all, and I can do it by date, or I could do some other filters here. But let's say I had these 5 that I just did earlier, and I want to combine them. So I put them all together, combine it. It actually creates its own combined report. So again, it's going to show that content over time and show the accumulation of all these different Kahoot contents that we're doing inside these Kahoots that I like to have within this giant report. So it has all the games that were included. This was just me, but I did all 55 questions. It shows, hey, you did 88% correct. And it kind of, I would say more, takes all these different pieces and then combines them all together in one spot form. So it makes it a lot easier in terms of reviewing data and reviewing accuracy over time and having all this split up by reporting. The other big thing I'll talk about again here is the player ID being very, very important here. So when you have like sessions like this, player ID is super, super important. So you make sure you have that a player identifier or that unique ID so you can have that in the reporting as well, because that's where it reverts all back to that user or player. So excellent. And that's reporting. It's pretty extensive. I'd say no matter what, again, if you're doing a course, assign Kahoot, player ID, combine reports, Kahoot's itself, live version, a report is generated every single time. So if you want to, manipulate that data further or put them all together in terms of how you want to have it combined, it's up to your discretion, and all that's going to be at your fingertips in this report section here. I believe next is actually looking at the Canvas LMS stuff. So I'm really excited to show what that integration looks like in your LMS system. So let me go ahead and stop sharing, and I'll go ahead and pull this up over here. Give me one moment while I get this going. Excellent. So you should be seeing my screen here. It's going to be showing the start of our Canvas integration. So this is actually our Canvas account that we have set up. I had one of our developers put this together for us. And essentially what we'll be doing is talking about how you can set up the Kahoot integration, what the deep linking looks like with your content you'll have in here, and then how you actually engage with it and play with it on the student side of things. So first off, as an admin, we'll actually need to set up the developer keys. And this is something that our team can assist you with if you want to get involved on the EDU side of things where you have LMS access. So from here, we don't have keys yet to start using Kahoot, so we'll go ahead and do the LMS registration. We actually have a unique code you need to use to go ahead and get that started. So once that's done, we'll go in and register. It's going to pop up this screen here that you'll see. We're actually already logged into Kahoot, so if you didn't have your account already signed in, this would be something that you would do here. But since it's already logged in, you're already good to go. You can just select it as EDU Pro. Say, okay, I want to add this organization to the LMS system. It's going to spin a little bit, and then it's great. We've linked it. You're all set. Now we actually need to publish it and get that going. So we refresh the page. We're going to turn on the state and activate it, and then take the actual key itself that we'll send back to our development team just to add that unique ID. Perfect. So we got the keys. Now we actually need to get the apps and all that sorted as well. So the next step, once it's been activated, we'll go to settings real quick. So, and again, as mentioned, this recording is going to be provided. So if you have any questions on this, you'll be able to review this later. But as you can see, Kahoot's not added as an app yet. So we need to add the app. So in this case, we'll actually do it by client ID, which is the code that we had previously when we did the registration keys. We'll go ahead and post that there, click submit, have that done. Great, it found it. We want to install it. Perfect. So we're going to go ahead and install the app. And then, perfect. So now we have the deployment ID. We can put that back to our development team so they can add that in the back end to make sure that the systems are talking to each other. And then what we'll actually do next is show how we can deep link the content, which is by placement. So you'll see it here, link selection. This is actually how they'll be able to engage with the Kahoot content while you're on your LMS system itself. So the first thing we need to do is actually create a course and a module. So we'll go ahead and go to course and we'll add one real quick. We'll do a development one, and then the name will be Hello World that we'll have set up here as our example one. Excellent. So we'll go and create the course. Once the course is created, we'll actually have to publish a module that will have some Kahoot activities or content for them to engage with. So we need to update the course details so that we can add the module and post it on our LMS system here. Excellent. So we'll go ahead and go to home, add the module, and then we'll link the Kahoot content here now that we have the app and everything installed. So this one's going to be just a test for y'all to see. So test module, we'll have it here. And now we want to add the activity or the actual Kahoot engagement session that we'll be having within our system itself. So as an assignment, we actually want to link an external tool. So because we want to add the Kahoot directly in here from our platform directly into LMS, we'll go and select Kahoot. And then from here, it'll actually pull up your library since you're already logged in. So you'll be able to see all the Kahoots that you already had in your library deck and go, okay, I want to add this one here. And that's the same assignment window that we had last time. So you'll see the question timer or when you want to have it due. Everything looks good. So we'll just add it here directly. It'll have the actual URL, the page name, everything already embedded. And then that's it. They're ready to go. We can just go ahead and add the item. And now the item is added. It looks all set. We just need to publish the content. So we'll publish the module and the course for them to get used, for them to engage with it. And then they should be all ready to engage with the content. So simple as that. Now that it's all ready, we posted it. We actually want to switch our view to the student so you can see as a student, how does it look like when you're engaging with the content? So now we're flipping the view. This is now the student screen as well. They'll say, okay, I have a test Kahoot LTI I can take here. It's assigned to me. I'm going to go and open it. So you can see it's due by Sunday at 12. It's 100 points and it was posted at the X time. So from here, it's actually taking what your role is in the LMS and adding that to that report itself. So we will add our player ID just so that shows up on the reporting as well, but we'll put that. You'll see it pulled test student. That's the account we're on. And then we're already logged into the Kahoot itself. And again, this is an asynchronous Kahoot, kind of like we talked about. So we're able to engage with this content at our own pace, on our own accord, and kind of do that in the back end. And everyone else can kind of join at their own style as well. So everything looks good. So we'll go ahead and click OK, go. And again, we're playing this all through the LMS system. So that deep linking material, which is really, really fun to kind of show live at this point. But yeah, showing the Kahoot LTI, it's going to be one question. The question is going to be just multi-select, as you'll see here. I was told by my development team when they put this together, this was a developer joke that went right over my head. So what's status of Kahoot LTI support? It's 200 and 429. Which that when explained to me, I found it very much more funnier than I did at the beginning. And perfect. So it's correct, 100%. There was time included, so you see the points there, and then we'll click complete. And then now that our session on that has been consumed, we're done with it. Perfect. We can go to grades, actually. So we'll go and check out grades real quick. And then it's actually sorted by the user. So you'll see here, 100 out of 100, it's sorted by accuracy. So this is already in the gradebook on your LMS system, and that'll be here directly for them to reference specifically once they complete these sessions. So again, it's a different way to engage with the content. And we're now able to have that specifically added to your LMS system if it's a supported one. So really excited to finally show that off. I know we already have a few users that are getting on board with that. So really, really cool stuff. It's something that I've been waiting for some time. So I'm really excited to get it going and get everyone's feedback once they start utilizing it that way as well. Perfect. So that was the Canvas integration I wanted to show off. But now I think we have a quick Kahoot that I want to pull up here. So I want to post a quick live Kahoot that I want y'all to check it out. Excellent. Let me go ahead and share my screen. Okay, perfect. So we'll have this going on in the background. Okay, it's loading here. Excellent. So we'll do a live Kahoot. I definitely want to get your feedback so far. So if you have any phones, your apps, or your other tabs ready, if you can get that out and get that prepared. I do want to show when I'm starting this live Kahoot, I always have show questions and answers on. So that'll show the actual answer and question on your phone or device or the computer itself while you're actually going through the content. So something I highly recommend. I do every time. For player ID, I'm not going to have that on for this time, but it's something I usually do recommend for if you're doing assessments or assessment styles in your course. Definitely recommend having player ID turned on for those. I haven't had characters. I think characters are kind of fun. I have my standard theme for higher ed here as well, and then I'm not going to do two-step or nickname generator. So we should be good to go, and I'm going to go ahead and click play. Excellent. Make sure perfect. I'll have that come across. I'll make that full screen. And then if anyone wants to scan in or use the PIN code, I like to scan in, but I also sometimes use the code when I'm on my phone. But yeah, if you want to join via that way, PIN code will be 690136. If you're not able to join here in the next bit, we'll make sure to put the actual game pin in the chat below. So you'll be able to join later. The fun thing about starting or when to stop and start, sometimes I get asked like, hey, can other people join once we already get going? Absolutely. As long as you don't lock it out or keep it locked, others are actually able to join Kahoots while they're even live itself. But let's say everyone was in the space I'm already at. I actually don't want anyone else to be able to join this Kahoot at all. So I'll go ahead and keep it locked. So it's locked only for the people that are within the space here at this time. We already have 25 people here, 26, 27, so other few people are joining. For the sake of time, I am going to go ahead and get started, but do remember you can still join, and then we'll put this game pin in the chat for you as well, for you to engage via that way. Perfect. So we're at 30. I'm going to go ahead and get started here. Perfect. Excellent. This is just about the webinar we did. So we had that in the background, and then we'll go over our first question. Excellent. Oh, my quick slide here, so we don't need to do anything about that. We'll go to the next one. Excellent. So quick word cloud. I'd love to hear about yourselves and just where you come from. What's your role in higher ed? Are you an instructor? Are you a student? Or do you work in this particular department? Love to just get some feedback from yourself in terms of where kind of area is your expertise, or what role do you currently reside in. It's always great getting to see everyone's input and where they're coming from. And then the larger actually the answer is on these word clouds, the bigger they are on screen. So it's a really cool collage to get everyone's ideas and concepts together. And then you can kind of see how that's put together at the end. So we'll actually look at that together here real quick. Okay, so a lot faculty, adjunct professor, any program chair, teacher, motivator, lecturer, professor, instructor. So a lot of different fields here, obviously, but as I mentioned, it's really cool. The bigger it is on the screen, the more and more commonality there is, I'd say, and the more times the word's typed. So word cloud, I love using at the beginning just to get some ideas flowing, to get some people's answers out there. You kind of see what everyone else answered as well. It's one of my fun ones, but cool. Yeah, awesome. Love that. Love to see that. And a quick poll. This one's actually multi-select, so you can do more than one option. We've shown a lot of good features today, and I love to see what you're most excited about. So we talked about the Canvas LTI integration. We talked about asynchronous assignments. Advanced report settings has come out as well. The new interactive question types, you're kind of doing that now. So you're getting a little bit of a sneak peek of that. We've talked a little bit about game modes. Don't know if anyone's interested in the game modes particularly. Maybe we'll do a complete session on that, but love to know if you're excited to try those out if you haven't yet. And then this session wasn't dedicated to this, but the AI question generator always comes up. So we love to hear if you're still excited about that, if you've tried it, or maybe if you want to try it. So let's see. Okay, a lot for the canvas. Interactive question types are always a big one. Kahoot game modes. Excited to see all the positivity there. That's cool. I'm really excited. Y'all are excited to try it out. Definitely give me your feedback on the temple one, and then the towers. I love a few of those. Color King was one of my personal favorites. But advanced report settings, great. AI question generator is always a big topic as well. Okay, so a little bit all over the board. A lot of things to be excited about. Perfect. And then a little, just a small open-ended question type. If there's any other topics or webinar themes you'd like us to host a session on, if there's anything maybe you saw here today you want us to go even further detail on, please put it here in the chat. We'd love to see that. So this question type, I think I put it for 45 seconds, I believe, but essentially it's a stanza answering question type where you can type up to X amount of characters, and then you can actually select a theme or motif of what you're submitting. So if you want to get more constructive feedback or longer answer types back from your audience, highly recommend checking out the this one that we're doing here. So perfect. We already got a few answers as well. 10 more seconds. Sometimes if you have a large class, you can go ahead and skip to the results, and then other people can still input while you're waiting, but I'll just let this one get to the end here, and then we'll review it. So 14 answers. You can skip it. I am at a show just to check it out. Don't know, game design, more game modes, AI features, tokens for students, asynchronous assignments, integration in Brightspace. Okay. Using AI very in class effectively. Okay. Yeah. No, I appreciate the input here. We'll definitely review these post-session. Really appreciate that. And then scale, we're kind of wrapping up here before we get into our Q&A sessions, but we'd love to know how satisfied you are with the webinar. This is just a quick poll here, or sorry, it's our scale question type. So you can actually customize the icons or the ranges you want to give. So it's like if you want to do dissatisfied, satisfied, or confident, not confident, you can kind of give it that custom feel if you like. I decided to do this, but love to get your feedback if you think these are effective or if anything you can change in particular. I do want to show answers, kind of see what you're thinking. Okay, some 3s, some 4s, some 5s. Hey, 56. I'll take that. Very happy to see that. I'm hoping I can keep. I think I've been doing around a 4.4, so I'll see if I can up that next time. That's very exciting for me. Thank you for that. Appreciate it. Excellent. And then that's it. So unfortunately, there's no winner for this session on the Kahoot itself, because this is just no points, no right or wrong. This is just getting that feedback, like I mentioned, more of the objective question styles and types that we have here. But I will go ahead and close this Kahoot. I appreciate y'all participating with me. I am gonna pull up the homepage here just so I can have that ready. But I am curious. I think the last bit we'll go into is particularly going to be just our questions and answers portion. So if anyone had any questions previously, either in the chat or anything now, we can review again before we head off and wrap up. That'd be great. I have some dedicated time for that. Alex, was there anything in particular that was posted, or is there anything anyone wanted to see again?
Thank you so much, Josh. That was great. No, I thought that was really interesting. I think the LMS integration will be a bit of a game changer, because I think it's annoying to have to keep jumping from different platforms. So to have all the student grades in one and have it as like normal homework assignment tool, I think it will work really well.
Yeah.
I used to work at a university, and I did use Kahoot a lot, but sadly that did not exist at the time.
Yeah.
So
Yeah, the LMS integration is something that's been requested for some time, so it's something we've been working on in the background. So really excited to kind of see it come to fruition, and keeping everything centralized in the LMS is kind of our goal, and what I would say a lot of our feedback has been to this point. So really excited to get that ball rolling and then show how people can operate in that system with using Kahoot as a part of that assessment criteria. So
yeah. One more thing I wanted to show everyone is, Josh, can you show everyone the learning experience channel? If you see, I think it's the first channel that you can see on the sidebar where it says TK, if you can click there.
yeah, let me pull it
If
up
not, I can
here.
share my screen.
Yeah, here, I'll jump off. Yeah, if you can share your screen, Alex, that'd be great.
Oh yeah. So basically, I just wanted to share with everyone, we have a dedicated channel where you can do 10-minute courses, so very little bite-sized courses that cover some of the topics we talked about today. I tried to share one of the courses in the chat, but I think the problem is that when you're logged into your own Kahoot, the course is assigned to you. So that's why I couldn't share. But to find the channel is if you just log in as normal, and it's this channel here. Okay, so the first channel that comes up, I put the the link in the chat as well. It should say PD Education Learning Experience. So some of these courses, how to generate Kahoots using AI, the interactive lessons, that goes into a lot of the question types, solo modes, which we also mentioned in the chat, and then reports. So how the report functionality works, which Josh talked about today, you can kind of have a go yourself if you're not got that confidence to use it in a lesson just yet. Things about high quality Kahoots, how to create courses if you've never done that before, but that's also a really good one to do as an assignment, because courses you can add in videos, and you can add in a lot more information and context for the students. So perhaps you won't have time to cover that in your actual lecture time. So to have that as an assignment would work. The game modes, which we also touched upon, it shows you how to use them. All the game modes are free and available on all the plans at the moment. In future, we might limit some of those, but for right now, everything's available. And then, of course, how to become a verified creator as well. That's the program that I run. So Kahoot Verified Creators, you'll realize that instead of just having some random Kahoots, you have like a proper profile on the page. And also, if you make very nice Kahoots, you could then apply to sell them as well. And sell your courses. So I just wanted to show where that is, so the learning can continue. Okay, so let's see, have we got any more questions going on?
If not, they could send it back to our team post session. We'll be happy to answer in that
Yeah,
regards
of
as
course.
well.
Definitely. Yeah, we'll be in touch with all of you. You'll get a certificate of attendance, and all the relevant links will be in there. Because I know that some people weren't sure what's on their plan, what's not. So hopefully it will all make sense when we email you, and you can watch the recording again.
Perfect.
All right. Well, thanks very much, everybody. And thank you so much to Josh for running the session. And yeah, I hope to see you all again soon. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye,
Thank you.
everyone. Thank you.